So, good morning to all of you. Today, I'd like to concentrate on access specifiers within within Python programming. How access specifiers are supposed to be mentioned within the Python programming. Not only Python, any kind of object-oriented programming. So, look at this. As far as object-oriented programming, so we do have three different types of access specifiers which are available for us. So first of all, I'd like to size will be, let me increase the size for 24 or 26, something like that. Then it could be very easy to display everything here. Okay. No, dark theme is better, I think. Oh, okay. However, so look at this. We do have approximately three different types of access specifiers which are available. So within any object-oriented programming language. So let us consider first one is the public access specifier. Second one is access specifiers or access modifiers. Either of these two will be same, because access specifiers will always give you some information that how a particular variable which is defined by you within the class will be so taking care about this particular access specifiers within the class here. And as far as access specifiers are concerned here, we do have three different types of access specifiers. Number one will be public. Number two, which is private. Number three, which is protected. So public access specifier is a common access specifier what we have performed so far. So let me show you how these things will be. So let me give you some small information regarding to each and everything here. Public access specifier will always gives you can be accessed throughout the class and other classes as well. Whereas in private access specifier, in the sense it is not supposed to be accepted by other classes other than the self one only. So should be access only with the class where we have to you have defined. Okay. Then protected will be, what do you mean by protected? Protected here, protected will be always used to access, can be accessed with the class, within the class and derived classes. Okay, so these are the three different types of access specifiers which we do have with us within the access specifiers here. So here public, in the sense you can access through that particular class or other classes as well. So if you are supposed to define inheritance, so within this inheritance you can access the public access specifiers without having any hesitation. Whereas in private, in the sense private is always being accessed within that particular class where exactly you have defined, and these access specifiers cannot even accessed by cannot be accessed through the derived class. Okay. So though you are derive some kind of other class using the parent class or super class, even so it is the derived class of that particular super class. Even then, So this particular access specifier cannot be, I mean, the private members cannot be so accessed through that particular class as well. And protected in the sense, yes, they can be accepted or accessed through the superclass and subclass as well. In subclass also, you could able to perform the operation using protected, whereas the private cannot, and the public can be, of course, it is being having complete access from the so parent class, otherwise superclass and subclasses as well. So this is the actual information what we are supposed to specify here. Let me so go through. Let me open Python for you, and then let me show you. So already we did some kind of activities in okay, let me do some kind of activity here. So let me take a new file, and here you can see. So I'd like to take a quick example for you. This one. So look at this. A class has a defined class. Let me say person is the class name, and within this particular person, I'd like to define so two different types of or three or four. However, you can take a number of so members here. So the definition of public will be public members will be public members. Public members will be defined something like this here. So define init your so constructor. So the constructor might be accessed its own activity here. So let me say, for example, name of the particular fellow, then age of that particular fellow, and so course of study, otherwise branch of study of that particular fellow. So if you are supposed to take, then directly you can assign the values of name will be so equal to name of that particular fellow, self dot so age will be equal to age here, and self dot so branch so will be equal to branch here. So this is the way of defining a public member or public attributes within the particular class here. Within the particular class, you can access the public so member something like this. If you are supposed to display the contents of this one directly, you can access them. There is no problem at all. So define so output. Let me say you can define your own function name. I mean method name. So let me say display. Display is my particular name here, self, and I'd like to display the contents of this one here, and display the contents will be seems something like this. So let me so display the content something like this here. So print, of course, let me print with F format here. I am so and so so and so self dot name. I am so and so name. So and I am and I am having this much age, self dot age. Okay, not like this actually. So sorry for this. So self dot age, studying. So self dot course or branch. Okay, you could able to define something like this. Okay, so close this one here. Why it is not closing? Yeah, close this one here. So you could able to define your public member something like this. Of course, this particular so function also public member only. This is also public method. Public method. So because this method will be accessed anywhere else, there is no problem at all. So let me define an object for this particular person here. So let me say x will be equal to, so let me copy this one here, then that would be better without any spelling mistakes. Okay, person of, so name is some Hari is the name of my person, and so age will be some 21 years, and then branch of study will be CSC, for example. If you take this one directly, you can access the display method without referring anything here. So display. So let me say if you save this particular problem, and let me consider here. uh, class 1, for example. Let me take and display this one here. There is no problem without having anything, any problem or any throwback errors. It could be displayed here because we have defined these members. Whatever the attributes you have taken, all attributes are public attributes here. Everything is public, so therefore it could be displayed without any problem. It could be displayed everything. And here also the member function, let me say the method which is being defined under person will also be a public method, and you can access that public method. Soon you have to create one particular instance for this particular person here. So it could be very easily to access that particular public activity here. So for example, if I would say, if I would draw one more kind of thing here, let me say, let me define a particular class. So this class is accessing student is my class name. Student is my class name, which is inherited. So person, okay, which is inherited person here. And this student might also be having some kind of public methods. So it is also having some kind of public methods. Let me say this method will be seen something like this. So this method could be defined. So underscore underscore init, your constructor might be defined here, self, comma, name, followed by age, followed by branch, followed by college of study. For example, I would like to define in a quick manner. So that is why I have taken very less number of attributes here. So here you'd like to take if you want to access the particular person. I mean, this is a base class actually. As far as the definition of this one is, this is a base class, and this is the student will be derived class. This is a derived class, and here if you want to access the base class methods or base class any kind of issues, then you'd like to apply super dot underscore underscore init. So super underscore underscore init underscore underscore. So it might be taking three different types of things here. So first one is number one is name, number two will be age, number three will be branch. Afterwards, so you have defined your own. So self dot your variable name, that is college, will be equal to whatever the college you have studied. Okay, so whatever the college you have studied here, college will be equal to college. Okay, then you have to define your own method to display the contents. So therefore define, let me say, student stu display, disp, student display. So self, so which will be taken. So let me say print, I am studying so and so so and so. You'd like to take that I am studying at so what is that, self dot college, self dot college. Okay, so something like this you could able to specify. Now you could not able to create any kind of instance for person. You'd like to create instance for student here. So this is the student activity, and you are expected to give approximately four different types of parameters. Four different types of parameters must be given, and one more parameter let me include. That parameter will be RCE. So I'm studying it RCE. So X data, so display. So before going to display this particular thing, so super dot. So I'd like to display this particular method here, super method. Before going to display this particular thing, I'd like to display this for access that particular base class method, followed by my own display what exactly the student is being specified here. So student display will be going to access by you here. So here you can see, so this particular method also, whatever the method you have displayed, I mean created here, this particular method also considered as, just wait for a while, indentation is not following properly. So here also indentation is not following properly, I think. Yes, it is the proper indentation. However, this particular method could also be a public method. This is also a public method of the derived class, which is the student here. Everything is public. So because you haven't include anything here, so that I mean include any kind of underscores here for any members here. So therefore, it will be considered as public member. Now you can see. So it could be display the contents. So where it is. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I have sent out 4 only. So what is the problem here? Hari 21 CSA REC super dot. 4 positional parameters have been given here. Super dot will be taken only 3. Here also I have given only 3 here. Oh, sorry. Self has given. Self is not supposed to be given here. Self is not supposed to be given here. While we are accessing the method, so self is not supposed to be given here. Sorry for this. Already we have taken this particular inheritance in the previous classes here. So that is the traceback error here. That is the traceback. We have given only four positional parameters, but you have given so 5 here, because self is not supposed to be given while it is being accepted with super. The super keyword will not be taken any self here, because self is already defined with the base class. So that is why that is the error here. Please make a note while we are writing any so inheritance, while it is being called with the super method, super keyword. So you must not give self as one of the parameters. Okay. However, so this is the way you could able to define your particular, I mean your particular thing here. So this is the way of writing. So let me say what this particular thing, public methods. Everything will be public. Okay. In base class or in derived class, whatever it may be, everything will be considered as public here, and the public methods will be seen something like this. Public methods will be seen something like this. Now, I'd like to define private. I'd like to define private. Look at this. Private member will always, well, you are trying to display, I mean, define anything as a private. The private method or member, whatever it may be, it must be always starts with the 2 underscores. 2 underscores. For example, name will be so private, let me say attribute. Whereas if you take so 2 underscores followed by, let me say, define def followed by 2 underscore display. Method might be anything here, whatever it may be, whatever the method it might be. So it will be considered as a private method. Okay. So 2 underscores will be there with you, then that is called as a private. And so either this could be, this particular activity will be, I mean, this two application of these 2 underscores might be in terms of an attribute, in terms of a method. So for the both, you are supposed to be taken into consideration. Let me give you one example here. So let me give you one particular example. Let me take the same example again. So look at this. Same example. Let me copy this particular example with another file. So now I'd like to define my member as a private member, not a public member. My number is a private member. So private member. So how do you define a particular private member here in the sense? Private member will always take an double underscore. Double underscore. So name will be equal to, by default, they will be taken none. Okay. By default, they will be taken none here. And double underscore age will be equal to none again. Double underscore branch will be equal to so none again. None again. Okay, like this you have to define. So these members are considered as private members. These members can be accessed through only this particular class, the person, the class which we have defined here, that is person class. Now, I have sent some kind of input through this particular class as a name, age, and a branch here. And how could you assign these values to your so constructor here? So you can able to so assign something like this underscore underscore So which is accepted by only this particular class. Now you can see, so the name, age, and the branch are private members, and based on the input you have given through that particular class, yes, you are supposed to access those methods. Sorry, those attributes here. And now let me say my attributes are private only, but method will be public. Method will be public only. So I don't want to define at this moment here. For time being, I'd like to make this one in a proper way, something like this. Look at this. I am so and so self. So here it is a private member. I am trying to specify that this is not private, it is a public. So time being, we'd like to consider in such a way. And the self dot age, it is also a public. I am trying to consider it is a public. Branch also be public here, but actually I have defined them as a private members. So let us see whether this can be accepted or not. So let me see whether this can be accepted or not. Here it is, the method name is display. Okay, look at this. This is okay. So look at this here. So now let me execute this one for a while. Look at this. So you have taken four parameter. Wait for a while. How many things have been taken here? So yeah, sorry for this. RCE could not be there because only I do have only so three parameters, that is Hari, age, and course of study. Sorry for that. So previously, now you can see this one here. What is the error you got here? The error will be, so here I am self dot name, self dot age, and self dot branch. So here person doesn't have any such kind of name, such kind of age, such kind of branch here, because all these are private attributes. Since these are private attributes, you must include double underscore. You must include double underscore. They are not defined with the public, they are defined with the private. So double underscore here. Now your program will be executed successfully. You can see here. You can see the output here. So therefore, this is the way of, even it is within the class, this method also defined within this particular class, but you haven't include this particular double underscore, says that you are trying to specify that name is a public one and the age is public one and the branch is public one, because so I have been not included. So this particular so double underscore here. For example, if I would eliminate double underscore here, obviously it will be generated some error. Again, error will be there. So branch is not available with you. So branch is not a public kind of attribute. It is a private attribute. So therefore, so you need to include double underscore. So whenever you have to specify any attribute name will be preceded by double underscore, then that is called as a private member or private attribute. And this private attribute can be accepted by only that particular class. Now you can see, you have a clear idea right now what exactly it is being. Now I'd like to make this particular display as private method. How could you make this particular private method in the sense? So before this method, I'd like to include two double underscores, then this will be considered as private. Now you have created one instance here. Per person, one instance was created. Per person, one instance were created. And for this particular person, let me say, so I have defined as a private something like this. I have taken the same here. Look at the outcome. Look at the output here. Again, the person does not have any attribute double underscore display. Okay, outside of the, even you have created one instance for this particular person. So person is the particular design of the class, and for this particular design you have created one class, one instance here. Even this instance was created outside of the class. So please remember this, you have created this particular instance outside of the class. Since it is created outside, even then, so this private so method was not being accepted. This private method is not being accepted. Please remember that. So as and when you have to create anything as a private, so that private cannot be accepted outside of the particular class, whether it is a member, let me say attribute, or it is a method, whatever it may be. Then how could I display the contents? How could I apply this particular content here? So this particular content is being gets operated something like this. You have to define. So you have to define. So wait for a while. You have to define one more function as a public function. So let me say one more method, not function, one more method as a method, public method. You have to define one more public method as a define. So OUT, of course, you can take anything, whatever the name it might be. Name is not important for us, but it is public method. Public method in the sense it should not be preceded by anything. Should not be preceded by anything here. So therefore, here you could call within the this function this method output method, which was defined within the person's class, which was defined within the person's class. Now you can able to access this particular method here. So how could you access that particular method here in the sense within the self reference underscore underscore display, display. So instead of, look at this, instead of, so display here, you may be called the public member as output. I hope that you understood the concept. Now let me execute this one here. Okay. So any private member, either it is attribute or it is method, cannot be accessed outside of the class. Even the class has been taken an instance, within the instance also it is not supposed to be accessed. Okay, that is what you need to understand. That is what you need to understand about this particular thing here. It's very important to understand. Okay, so like this you could able to specify something like this here. Now if you draw protected, this is private here. Private members will be accessed within the particular class only. Even any instance will be gets created, that instance can also not been accepted the private members to be executed. So therefore, to access that particular private member, you can create another public method and so access or execute that private method within the public method, and the public method can be able to so access by the instances. Okay, something seems like this. If you are trying to perform the same kind of operation in terms of uh, let me say in terms of inheritance, I'd like to create one more class here. The class name is, so let me please allow me to copy from the previous one. So here, this is the class here. This is the particular so class which was defined previously. Now this is person is the, so person is the base class and the student is the so derived class. I have taken derived class here. In student everything is public. In student everything is public. I have been taken, so this particular call is extra here, and I am trying to display the contents. Look at this. I am trying to display the contents using private here. So even student is the derived class from the person, that is base class. It is also not supposed to access this particular kind of thing. It is not supposed to be accepted. So this kind of thing here. So let me say this is student, and let me add one more positional parameter, that is RCEE is one more positional parameter here. Okay. Okay. Now look at this. Now look at this, whether it is being accepted or not, whether it is being executed properly or not. So it is not supposed to be executed in a proper way, because we are trying to access so this particular private method through the derived class. So private methods will be always confined within the scope of the class where exactly it has been defined. Confined within the scope of this one only. So let us see whether it is being executed properly or not. You have to observe you did not have any information regarding to this display here. Oh, sorry, output. I have taken output. Sorry for that. It is not output here. It is student display. Sorry. Student display. The student display is the method we need to access. We are accepting or we are displaying the outcome using person here. It is not our duty to accept this one. We are trying to display the content of this one here. Only derived class things will be taken into consideration here. Look at this whether it is being displayed or not. No, no, it is not being displayed because super dot underscore display, it is not supposed to be accepted outside of the class because so underscore display is a private method which was created or which was accessed only through its super class. So that is the problem here, only through its superclass, and the superclass methods which are in private mode cannot be accepted to outside. So therefore you must be taken so only public methods. Instead of display you'd like to take only public methods, something like this. Now you can see it could be executed in a proper way. Yes, you can see every outcome has been come out here. So therefore private, if you consider private cannot be accepted outside of the class. So that is the information regarding to so public and private here. The access specifies public and private will be seen something like this here. So as far as Python is concerned, the so notation of defining a private and a public will be so differentiated with so double underscore and without have any double underscore as far as Python is concerned. Whereas if you consider other languages such as C++, Java and other, so they will be defined a keywords. Private, private is a keyword over there. Public is another keyword. Protected is another keyword. So here we haven't used any kind of private, public and protected here. Instead, so Rusum, Video One Rusum has taken one notation. Double underscore will be there. That is private member. So without any double underscore, that will be considered as public member. That is considered as a public member here. So that is the notation he was undertaken into consideration. And based on this one, so we would like to explain something about the inheritance. Let me define one more. Already I have given some information to you in the previous so classes. Let me define one more thing here, one more derived class here. Let me take one more derived class. So now the derived class is employee. Let me consider instead of student, it is employee. And so here also instead of employee age and so what is that branch in the sense CSC, I mean department, which department he is working and which company he is working, in which company he is working. So instead of branch, would like to consider as a department here, and instead of college, would like to consider as a company here. This is company. So first of all, self dot super dot output. Then so here I am working. Working at so and so company. Okay, this is the actual information. So studying, it is not studying branch. Actually, he is of course. Let me leave it as it is. Let me leave this one as it is. So further, you can make some kind of changes out there. And RCE instead of this one, I'd like to say department is CSC and he is working at RCE. He is working at RCE and the age will be some 45, something like that. Mr. Hari only. So okay, as far as student, it is okay. As far as employee, some y will be equal to another instance will be created, EMPLOYEE. Let me copy the same here. let me copy the same thing here. Employee of, so let me say he is Mr. Kumar, so having 45 years of age, and he is working with so CSE CS branch, and RCE is the working company. And here y dot you need to apply. So let me say, instead of a student display, here it is so so EMP display. Instead of student display, I'd like to take it as EMP display. So let me copy this particular EMP display here. So EMP display off. Execute this one for a while. So what are the, so actually it is not studying actually. So you may be, if it is not private, then you could able to overwrite it. You could overwrite it. Actually, it must be working at so and so. Sorry, working in the department of, and working at so and so RCE. However, so I'd like to leave this particular message as it is. Okay, like this, you could able to work out with so inheritance by defining the private here. Already have an experience that this particular method cannot be accessed outside. This method cannot be accepted outside. So that is the point which we have to consider here. That is the point which we have to consider here. Okay.